The president, who wants to arm teachers, floated out an offering as a bonus to any teacher willing to undergo training. Joining me now is the Deputy Superintendent of Marion County Public Schools in Ocala, Florida, Dr. R. Craig Ham. Dr. Ham, with a welcome to you, sir. Let's get right into this. Arming teachers, do you think it's a good idea? And the reality of training teachers and sporting coaches, is that even realistic?
Well, first, thank you, Alex, for having me here today. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It is a question of training and preparedness. The concealed carry permit in Florida, you have about 4 hours of training and one trip to the range. Yesterday, I read a pre-filed bill in the Florida Senate that would authorize the sheriff to have special deputies who are school employees, could be teachers, could be other personnel, who pass all of the rigorous physical and mental background checks and have over 130 hours of special safety and procedure training. I think that's a better way to go, and that would not approach 10% of our teachers.
Absolutely. I want to take this even a step further, because in an article for BuzzFeed News, it was a former Army captain who said this, sir: there is a gulf between being taught how to handle a weapon and learning to fight, learning how to stand your ground when an aggressor is trying to kill you. That's not something that comes naturally to people. And I know that you are a veteran, so what are your thoughts on that level?
Actually, I served as a military police officer in Vietnam, Germany, and Korea. And I know the studies of combat show that many soldiers, even though they've been highly trained, don't even fire their weapon in an active firefight. So the training piece and having the ability and the willingness to go forward is always a part of this discussion. But let's face facts. I have a county the size of Delaware, 43,000 students in 54 schools, and I take very seriously my obligation to protect them. That starts in the classroom and works its way out. And I want to make sure that our teachers and our supervisors have all the training they need to make an options-based response if we have an active shooter. We are currently training the ALICE protocol in our schools. We are empowering people to make the right decisions. But I also feel much better. I have 11 grandchildren, and several of them are in this school system. I want somebody inside the schoolhouse who does have the training, the background, and the fortitude to engage if that's the only option left on the table.
So the training, the fortitude to engage, does that then mean that those people you want to have inside your grandchildren's schools have to have guns?
Yes, it does. But we want to be very selective about who those people are. Look, there's a deterrent effect here as well as an engagement effect. If you look at the Pulse nightclub, the Texas church shootings, Parkland, people pick those targets because they do not expect to run into resistance. We have to at least put some doubt in their head. We have to deter.
But there will be, first of all, I'm not sure how one distinguishes in the heat of the moment, in the kind of chaos and terror that results as a school shooting is unfolding. I don't know how one decides who the good guys are with the gun versus a bad guy with a gun before a SWAT team comes on to the campus. But a SWAT team comes on, how do they distinguish between who are the good guys with a gun and the bad guys with a gun? I mean, that was a prospect that was brought up by young Tenzel Phillips. He's a 10th grader at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School who spoke with me earlier. And it was a very intelligent point. I mean, that just seems like it's ripe for disaster.
I understand the concern, and we talk about the fog of battle all the time, and this is really that at the micro level. But we know that part of our ALICE training is to keep people informed. We're no longer in the stage where lock down and hide in the closet that we used to do for tornado drills in the Middle East or the Midwest is what we need to do to protect our students. So a part of that is sharing information about where the active shooter is, what he looks like. And we want that on cell phones. We want it popping up on desktops. We want PA system announcements. Because everybody, to include the law enforcement responding to our schools in that crisis, has to know what's going on, and everybody has to make an independent decision on whether to evacuate, to blockade, to counter the attack. That's part of the training, and that communication piece is also a part of it.
All right, well, Dr. R. Craig Ham, this is the beginning, a conversation that we hope will lead to some solutions. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure we'll be in touch with you again. Thank you. Coming
Thank you
up,
for having me.
the processional for air.